Hey there, West Metro Denver. I'm Susie Stewartson with the Summit team, and it's time for your April housing market update. Local numbers, real-world context, and none of the national doom and gloom headlines. Because what's happening in Wheat Ridge, Arvada, Lakewood, Golden, and the rest of West Metro Denver doesn't always match what you hear on the national news. And this month, the market is sending a pretty clear message. The frenzy has cooled off, but demand hasn't disappeared. So well-prepared homes are still moving. Buyers have more breathing room, and strategy matters more than ever. So let's break it down. What's really happening in the market right now? First, let's look at the number of new homes entering the market. We saw 1,031 new single-family listings hit the market in April. That's slightly lower than last year, but still above what we typically saw during COVID. What this signals, sellers are returning to the market cautiously. A lot of homeowners still don't want to give up those ultra-low mortgage rates from a few years ago, so we're not seeing a flood of inventory. At the same time, life keeps moving forward. Relocations, downsizing, growing families, retirement plans, and those life events are gradually bringing more homes onto the market. Now let's look at what buyers actually have to choose from today. There were 1,313 active homes for sale in April. That's slightly lower than last April, but still the second highest April inventory level since we've seen in over a decade. Why buyers are paying attention to those? For buyers, this creates something we haven't seen much of it in recent years, which is options. People can compare homes, negotiate more confidently, and take a little more time before making decisions. And for sellers, it means preparation matters more than ever because buyers are always comparing your home against a lot more competition. Now, pending sales tell us where buyers are actually stepping in and making decisions. We saw 720 homes go under contract in April. That makes this the strongest April for pending sales in more than 5 years, and another sign that the market is moving back toward more normal activity levels. Now, what buyers are telling us, buyers are still active, they're just more intentional. The homes getting attention are the ones that are priced correctly, show well, and really feel like a good value. The homes that miss the mark, now those are the ones sitting longer while buyers keep shopping. Now let's look at the homes that actually crossed the finish line. We saw 735 closed sales in April, continuing the normal spring climb after the slower winter months. That's comparable to the last couple of years, though still below the extremely aggressive markets we saw during the pandemic boom. Now what this reflects, the market is healthy but not overheated. We're seeing steady activity instead of the wild spikes and bidding wars that defined the COVID years. And honestly, that's a much more sustainable environment for both buyers and sellers. Now let's talk about speed. The median days on market came in at 27 days in April, which is pretty normal for this time of year once you remove the unicorn years of the pandemic frenzy. Why this number matters, homes can absolutely still sell quickly in today's market, but speed is no longer automatic. Pricing, presentation, condition, marketing, and negotiation strategy all play a much bigger role now than they did even a few years ago. So homes are still moving, but the question everybody really cares about is price. The median asking price in April was $725,000. Median close price was $709,000. Asking prices have stayed relatively stable over the past few years and continue a gradual long-term upward trend. Closed prices have also remained fairly steady, though they're still landing a bit below peak market levels. What this really means, the pricing gap between sellers and buyers is narrowed compared to earlier this year. That tells us sellers are slowly becoming more realistic about pricing and buyers are responding when homes are positioned correctly. Homeowner reality check. Here's something homeowners in West Metro Denver should really pay attention to right now. If your home would likely fall somewhere in that mid-range market, roughly between $600,000 to $900,000, pricing strategy matters enormously. We're still seeing homes that are priced based on yesterday's expectations rather than today's competition, and buyers notice that immediately. The homes that come out priced correctly and show well are still attracting attention quickly, but homes that stretch too far on price, they're sitting a lot longer and chasing reductions or quietly expiring. Speaking of expired listings, we saw 110 listings expire in April, the highest April total we've seen since the COVID market years. Why sellers should care about this? Today's market is much less forgiving. A few years ago, sellers could test the market with ambitious pricing and still eventually find a buyer. Now buyers have enough choices that they simply move on if a home feels overpriced. That makes accurate pricing and strong presentation more important than ever. If you want one metric that helps explain the overall balance of the market, this is probably the best one to watch. We're currently sitting on about 2 months of inventory. That's roughly the same as last April and still noticeably higher than 1 month of inventory we used to see during the tighter seller-driven markets. How this affects the market? This is creating a much more balanced environment overall. Buyers have leverage they haven't had in years. Sellers still have opportunity, especially with desirable move-in ready homes, but neither side can rely on momentum anymore. Success now comes down to strategy, preparation, understanding the numbers. So when you step back and look at all of these numbers together, the West Metro Denver market is no longer running at an unsustainable pace, and honestly, that's probably a good thing. Whether you're in Wheat Ridge, Arvada, Lakewood, Golden, or anywhere nearby, the market is shifting towards something much more balanced and predictable. Buyers have more choices, sellers still have strong values, and the homes that are marketed and priced correctly are still moving. This isn't a crash, and it's not the frenzy we saw a few years ago either. It's a market where knowledge, preparation, and strategy matter again. If you want a closer look at what these trends mean for your specific neighborhood, price range, or next move, drop market in the comments or directly reach out. I'll help you break down the numbers, show you how to use this market to your advantage. I'm Susie Stewartson with the Summit team, keeping you one step ahead in West Metro Denver real estate market.